Welcome to another episode of Ignyte. Today, our special guest that we have owns the ad space. What I mean is he runs everything when it comes to social media for all 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs. This guy is the guy to go to monetize every single ad you got going on. Jason Wojo. Hey, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it, bro.
Hey, let's touch bases real quick on that too. It's like, how did you come to be? Because a lot of people know you now. They might see you everywhere. Like how I found you. We were talking about that right now on watching your ads and you with the McLaren. But how did you become that? You know, where did you start? You know, obviously you weren't here, and you're super young, bro. By the way.
Yeah, I'm about to turn 28 this year.
Wow, super young.
Yeah. I feel old though. So yeah, when I first started, I was doing just like local business social media management. So it was just like organic posting. So it was like barber shops. I remember I had like a Mexican restaurant, and I grew up in New York, so I had like barbershops, restaurants, home service, and then I had some like not just barber shops, but barbers themselves who wanted to do like personal branding. So had like maybe like 10 clients at the time, and I was just posting organically. I didn't know ads yet.
Oh, okay.
So like it was just post on Facebook, do a nice Canva organic post, and just like make them look good on social media. And then I started like researching stuff through like Ty Lopez, and then I found Jason Horning and some other Facebook advertisers, and I was like, oh, there's this boost post button. There's this back-end ads manager. Like, what does this stuff entail? I don't understand any of it. I don't understand what a lead form is. I don't get any of this. So then I decided to go to a couple of events, expose myself to that. And then while I was working with these local businesses, I was trying to charge them more because I was just doing organic. It was like $300 a month. It was really cheap back then because I was just a kid. Like I didn't need much money to survive. I was just trying to get like my feet wet. And then I started like trying to charge these clients $500, $750 a month. And they were like, oh, we don't know what ads are. We don't know the power of Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And it was like hard for me to sell it because I wasn't good at sales. I didn't understand it. So come to tell, I was working with all these businesses. I couldn't just get more because I didn't know how to hire it and do all this stuff with a team and whatnot. So then I just kept those clients. I just saved money. And then I wound up going to this one event that my mentor, Greg Berry, he ran this company called Hustle Island. And at the time, he was like, hey, man, I need help with ClickFunnels, active campaign emails, like all this jazz for a free plus shipping offer. I don't know if you know what those used to be, but they used to be really good lethal offers. Okay. Like for a book, free plus shipping, where you only pay the shipping, but the book's free, the whole angle. Yeah. Those used to do very well back then, and we did it for T-shirts. And they had like words like hustle, patience, and gratitude on them. Okay. And it was just for entrepreneurs, just like the official T-shirt of entrepreneurs. This shirt actually crushed. Like we would sell like 300 a day. It was nuts. Wow. And like I was behind the ads and working on ClickFunnels and all this stuff. And then I realized the power of traffic, and I realized that the people who I was trying to sell ads to were not even a good fit for it. Like a barbershop making, 10 to 30K a month when I was younger, I thought that was a lot of money. My dad only made 70 grand a year. So I was like, damn, barbershop's making 30 grand a month. Like that must be insane. Yeah, little did I come to realize, yeah, they don't really keep much of that. So then like I started learning that game. And then while I was running the free plus shipping offer, he decided after 11 months to just like close the company and sell it. And then after doing all that stuff with Greg, I took it and I was like, okay, well now I know what kind of business I need to target, because we were spending like $2,000 a day on Facebook, which to me at the time was a lot of money. I was like, damn, dude, like $2,000 a day. I thought he meant like a month. And I was like, oh my God, we're spending all this money. Like this is crazy. And then I learned all the stuff with Greg, and Greg was my mentor for like 3 years. Okay. And then I went on my own and started like pitching like clothing brands and info products and going into the coaching space, $7 ebooks, scripts, like all that low ticket stuff. And then I started learning more and more. And then I started just getting introduced to like webinars and VSLs and all this fun jazz. And then I was in this group called Copy Accelerator, where they taught you like copy and how to write sales letters and how to write webinars and sales scripts and all this fun jazz. And then I got from going into offers to funnels to copy. And those were like the 3 major important parts of like really how advertising breaks down. And then from there, I just started making organic content online, started running my own ads, getting my own clients. And then I was like forced to build a team and all that jazz.
What was the like that pivot point, or that one connection and you're like, you know what, when I did this, it just like skyrocketed for me? I mean, 'cause I've been people that have seen you before, like myself. I've seen you, on Ryan Pineda, different individuals.
I think the
have had you come
biggest
on.
connect, yeah, I think the biggest connect that I made, that's a tough one.
Or the pit, 'cause there's
Yeah,
got to be a point where you were like, dude, I'm right here, and then all of a sudden this happened, and then boom, I skyrocketed.
I think that was when I started becoming friends with Justin Colby.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is, but
do
Justin
not.
Colby's in the real estate space.
Okay.
And he introduced me to Andy Elliott.
Okay.
And then after that, then like I just started meeting all these people. And that was really when like things started to get cemented. And that was about maybe like 2 years ago.
Wow.
And Justin was my client for a while. And then he wound up switching up his offers and whatnot. But it was just like as soon as I started doing more podcasts, that's when I got bigger connections.
Okay.
And that's why I've always been into the podcast world and just like always am open to doing them because they're important.
Yeah.
Like you can get so much content in an hour. You don't have to do that much work.
Yeah.
You just sit and chill.
Chop it up and talk.
Yeah, you chop it up and you don't have to worry about like front facing scripts and like sitting there bottlenecking yourself for an hour and a half and feeling like you're forced to record.
Yeah.
That was a pivotal time. And then the second was actually a very interesting story. But it was actually something bad that happened that caused me to like change my business and the structure.
Yeah.
At one point, man, we had like, it was somewhere like 160 clients at one point. And we were running ads for all these clients. And like, I didn't understand like what proxies and IPs and all this stuff was for like internet stuff, like all this tech jargon. And like Facebook had a lot of like compliance things and whatnot. And what wound up happening is one of my media buyers, we basically were trying to use like this LastPass shit, which to be honest is like the worst thing you can do. And people use that, and I'm not trying to hate on LastPass, but like those softwares are easy to hack.
Okay.
Because you're just getting six digit codes through 2FA, and like you could easily hack that. Well, one of my media buyers got hacked, and then they like destroyed all 180 of our client accounts. Okay. So then what happened was I was able to get it back within 24 hours, but it came with a price. So like I hit up my Facebook rep and I was like, dude, like I need to get these clients. Like I need to get this person removed. He's like, you got to pay me $800 an ad account. I was like, $800 per ad account? I got 180 accounts, bro.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's what you got to pay. So I had to wire him like 100 freaking whatever it was, 140, 150 G's.
Yeah.
And I got everything revamped. And that was a learning point for me for like systems and all this shit and like bringing the right people who are going to tell me things that I don't know. Because at that time I was growing so fast, I didn't understand all that. I was just on a momentum high. I was like, all right, we're growing so fast. This is so exciting. And then I realized, I was like, oh shit, dude. That just completely tossed me up and I had no idea how to handle it.
Yeah. Isn't that always the case? I always tell people like that, the biggest lessons in life and even in business is going to be when you're challenged financially, spiritually, personally. One of those three is going to hit you.
Oh,
you're going to go back and go, oh man, let me fix this.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out. Yeah. And it's always, I think, even for us, like last year, we spent so much time, so much money, effort into like our first handle on social media. I just started last year in January, restarted from 2019. And I should have never stepped away. That's a huge lesson to learn. But I stepped away and then came back in and we blew up. And sure enough, same thing that you were talking about. We lost the handles and contacted the Meta, did all this other crazy stuff, started paying people off, oh, pay this, pay that. That never came back. The handle never came back. Till the day, actually, now I got somebody who knows somebody, but I'm like, you know what? I think I'm over it. I restarted over. And I'm like, I'll just start over again. I've done this before. Like, if I've done it once, I could do it again. So it's just like people are so focused on the number of, and this is important for you to actually touch bases on too, is the number of followers or the number. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to convert like whatever I got going on. Like I'm everything I do is business. So I'm like, I'm not here to become some type of I don't know, influencer. Like me and Albert always joke about that. Like, dude, we're business owners who have influence, right? We're not the opposite. We didn't start as influencers and all of a sudden trying to convert it into business. Like we do business and then we understand how valuable this is, right? Personal branding and trying to get into the space.
Yeah, and it's like the whole YouTube thing too. Like the theory online is, get millions of views and you'll make a ton of money. But like I know people who get millions of views that make way less money than people who have less views.
Bro, I got people that are like known and that are influencers, and I'm like, even local, and I'm just like, dude, like you're this person, right? And they're absolutely broke.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Yeah, it goes to show that you don't know how to monetize, you don't know how to run a business. You really, or you're just every day doing the same thing, hoping that one thing's gonna catch and it's just gonna happen. You know, like luck is gonna come your way, and then it's just gonna convert overnight, and all of a sudden you're making 100,000 a month. From making 1,000 a month because you're trying to deal with the same. Like they're not fixing it, right? It's like, dude, if you know it's working, you have all the views. I'm like, I always think this way. I'm like, you guys have the views that I wish I had, right? And the following that I wish I had, and I can convert it. And you guys are the opposite. You have all this, and you're not converting it. Like you're not even looking on how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Like if I'm broke, I'm gonna look to how to make money.
Yeah, because who their demo is just a bunch of like clickbait people who get clickbaited into shit, and they're not real customers. They're just like,
Yeah, it's just entertaining, right? It's entertaining.
It's entertainment.
Yeah. It's crazy how that is too.
So like with YouTube, like we won't get a lot of views on YouTube, but I get people who are real business owners who want to watch like a longer topic.
Yeah.
Like YouTube used to be easy as hell to grow on like 5-6 years ago. Now it's way harder.
Yeah.
Because people understand the wave of it. Personally, like that's where most of my focus is right now, is mostly YouTube organic, because it is just more lethal than like for example, Instagram. No matter what I do, like I can get a viral video, but will that video hit the right audience? Right? I could say some really like some provocative shit on there. Is it going to get views? Of course it is. But is it the right views? But if I go on YouTube and I label a video, how to take your offer from 100K a month to $1 million a month, a certain person has to watch that video. So now I'm targeting business owners for making 100K a month. And then if they watch it and they're like, that was smart, and they book a call, they're buyers. So it's like the YouTube game is just like Google, except just a smaller barrier to entry because it's now video format. Like Google SEO is way harder than YouTube.
Yeah.
Like if I were to rank on Google for advertising, like, dude, that would be so expensive. The cost per clicks are going to be $30, $40, $50. Like it's astronomical. And also like TikTok, who knows if it's going to be around. TikTok has the wrong demographic, in my opinion. It's just like a bunch of kids on there. We've tried running ads on TikTok to find really B2B business owners. It's very hard for B2B. Unless you have a low-hanging fruit, like I work with some software company and they charge like $99 a month to scrape local leads. That's a good offer for TikTok because it's $99. But when I'm trying to charge 5 figures for something, like, dude, these TikTok people don't have money.
Yeah.
So they're used to buying stuff on TikTok Shop for like $10 and like little gadgets and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's just
like more of a volume thing, right?
Yeah.
And when you talked about I know, and I've seen your ads, those $7 ones, you know what I mean? When you were running that for a while, and I'm just like, how the heck can you make any money off of $7? Like, that's freaking volume. But I'm like, dude, I would be so drained. So can you explain that? And that game changed, right? It's no longer something.
Oh no, it's definitely something. Yeah. So like, it just depends on the offering and whatnot. So like, okay, here's the angle of the low ticket funnels, which is this. Let's say, for example, you spend $1,000 a day on ads. Okay. You spend $1,000 a day and you run into a $7 product. Okay. You're going to pay probably $20 to get a conversion, give or take. Okay. If you pay $20 to make 7 and you got upsells and all that stuff on the back end, your only goal is to get people to break even on that front end. So let's say 50 buyers for every $1,000 I spend. Okay. If I get 50 people who bought something from me, and 10% of those people book on the thank you page, I get 5 book calls. And if I break even, I got 5 book calls for free. Because people paid $7 plus a couple upsells to then self-liquidate my ad spend. So like, I still run low ticket. It's decent, does well. I set up a low ticket for my girlfriend and it's doing well too. So it's like, she does like meal plans and stuff for she's a vegan nutritionist, but like she's running like $200 a day in ads. And she's making like $200 back every day. So her ad spend is getting paid by the buyers. And then all the book calls are free. Yeah. So technically her ad spend is zero.
And it works as a advertisement as well. Like you just said, it just puts you out there.
Plus you get followers from it. Also, you build your email list with buyers. Like if I were to see, if you spend $1,000 a day, you might get 150-ish leads. Okay, would you rather have 50 buyers or 150 leads?
50 buyers.
50 buyers, because people vote with their credit cards, not their mouths or actions. So like, someone can opt into a page and say, yeah, name, email, phone number, I'm in. But the chance of them responding are so low. Plus, if you have a setter and then they call those 50 buyers, response rates are higher. Because why? Because they bought something. But number 2 is they kind of low-key don't trust you. Like they just bought something random online. So it's like, they have my credit card number. I kind of have to answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So now you answer the phone, and now they're pitching you on getting on a call to buy something that is faster or better or more of the same of what they already bought. So it's like it's just an easier angle. It's less lead flow, but higher quality.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know. I know. I had. It's been a while since I've seen yours, so I'm like, and then I saw a few people trying to follow the trend, and I seen it go away, and I'm like, I wonder if it's still effective.
Yeah.
But I get it the way you're
I
saying.
mean, I'll give away one thing that I'm doing that eventually I will do with you is like the school group angle with the weekly webinar. Okay.
Yeah.
So like basically like once we get your lead forms and stuff up and whatnot, you see lead flow, then we'll add this on. But basically what I do right now is I spend, I don't know, like $750 a day on this ad that is just to grab a course for free. I'm not trying to find low-hanging fruit people, but I'll explain in a second. So I spend about $750 a day for 7 days straight, every single week. So what is that about? $100. Okay. I'll spend $100 and I'll get about $9 a lead, $8 a lead. Okay. These are people who do name, email, phone. I have a setter who's an AI who will call all the leads, triple dial and get them to book calls. Okay. But every single week when they opt in for the course, they're also getting opted in for a free webinar. So what will happen is like last week, for example, I just started this 2 weeks ago, dude. It's been actually like badass. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, I started it and I had that $5,000 in spend go. And then Thursday night, which is tonight, I have it later, is I do a webinar with all the people who grab the free course. Okay. So all these people join the webinar and then I go over what our product and service looks like to work with us. And then what will happen is at the end of the webinar, it's not my one-on-one, but I send them down to the downsell. And I'm like, hey, if you book a call, you get $3,000 off. Okay. You get $3,000 off if you pay in full. You got to pay for the whole 4 months up front. Okay. So you go to the webinar, you get this $3,000 coupon, whatever the hell you want to call it. They book a call. And now those people have high show rates and they all close and they all knew the price. So now like last week, I forgot how many. I think I sold 4 of them. Sold 4 of them and they were $10K each. So I sold 4, $10K. I made $40K off $5K in spend. And I built the school group. So that's where they're going, by the way. So they buy this course for free. They don't buy it for free, but it's free. And then they jump into a school community. Dude, within I ran ads before. I didn't do this free webinar angle. And I'm shooting myself in the foot right now because I didn't do it for so long. But we have 11,000 people in this school group. And they're all people who want to run better ads. And I did that in 6 months. So now if I run the same model and I keep doing week after week, I can self-liquidate spend and make money on it and build brand and then get the school group to 36,000 people by the end of the year. And they're all people who want to run ads or get better at ads. So people will run something for free or they run an opt-in or a free lead magnet and then they just depend on the setter calling them. And I'm like, okay, but what are you going to loop them into? You want them to follow you on Instagram? You want them to go to a WhatsApp chat? Where do you want to go? Facebook group? I always recommend school. So you build this asset over time and it just keeps churning. And then you can run events with just school. We're about to release a post in there where it's hey, we have 11,000 people in there. When do you guys want to have an event? And then I'm going to get hundreds of people in a room and then have a crazy ass day. So you don't, just because things are free, because people will hate on that. They're like, I don't give away stuff for free. Free shit's bad. I'm like, you just didn't do it correctly.
Yeah.
Because free lead magnets, to be honest, are dead. But if you do the free lead magnet to something after and then loop them in for a weekly webinar or a Q&A, you're going to make the money back.
Yeah.
And now you're building the community and your email list for literally free.
So it's you're doing your own events. Generally,
basically,
what you're saying, you're doing your own event, and when they're in front of you, you get a chance to pitch and do whatever you need to do regarding your product and your offer. And then it's kind of, you already have the crowd in front of you. Instead of actually being remotely in one place, right?
Yeah.
You actually get a chance to do it.
And then what we'll do tonight is we talk to them and then we tell them to book a call. The calls are only until midnight. We don't let them book for tomorrow morning. So we'll open up the calendar for a sales guy or two and they'll just take calls until midnight, until 11-ish, 11:30. And then the $3,000 goes away and just runs every single week.
And that creates urgency, obviously, for those of you that are watching.
Because the webinar, when they wait till the morning,
they're done. Yeah.
The show rates drop because they're on a high. They're after the web. They're like, I want it. I want it. I want it. Book a call. Now you're just handling a couple of buying questions.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what happens after I buy? When does the onboarding? Like, you're just getting buying questions. You're not getting. So what do you guys do again?
Yeah, because
They were on for the freaking whole hour. They know what we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm trying to like incorporate that model to really scoop into the webinars. So because right now, personally, because we've been seeing it, we're definitely in like this trust recession right now.
Yeah.
People are finding it harder to trust people and buy from them.
Yeah, there's so many. I think there's like, I mean, obviously, if you remember 2019 when I first jumped into the social media world, it was like different, even with Grant, with everybody. With Albert, everybody, Ty, everybody was different. And then all of a sudden you see now, it's like, dang, it's so saturated. Like you just don't know who to trust and not to trust. And the crazy thing about it is that there's, I mean, I'm sure you know that you're in the space when, and I tell people when the circle gets smaller and you start seeing who the snakes are. I'm not going to drop names at all. But, you know what I mean? You start seeing who's ethical, who's unethical, who's really, you know, about their business and who's really there to help and grow. And you can actually trust to do that with. And it's different. And I think people don't realize that. You have a lot of people that come in, they just want to make that ticket, right? Or they want to do, like you just mentioned earlier, but they want to sell you on, hey, I'll do the ads for you, do this. And then they, you know, they collect $4 grand from you or 10 grand from you. And I was on a call yesterday with one of the mentees for that. And I was like, I never told you to do that. You did it. That's your, you know, that's your bad. You know, like you don't get a mentor and then do things on your own when you have the ability to contact your mentor and say, hey, I got pitched this. Should I do it or should I not? Been there, done that, right? And so he spent like, you know, $4 grand that he didn't have into a ad company that disappeared. You know what I mean? The person, they won't no longer contact him. So there's a lot of those people out there that are actually doing, you know, the one and done type deals, you know, so you got to really be careful. I always tell people.
Yeah, like you know, those ads where they're like, oh, only pay for results.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, performance based. Bro, all they're doing, okay, if you ever see an ad where it's like, hey, you're only going to pay for results, it's bullshit. Okay, you get in the call and they're like, we're going to build you a landing page. You got to pay for the setup fee of the landing page.
Yeah. That's already the charge in itself.
That's the charge that they were originally going to charge you, but they just gave you a manipulated offer to get you to come in as a lead.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so bad. Like, I freaking hate those offers.
And I tell people nowadays is, you know, when you pay attention, which is what it takes, paying attention. If you're in this business and you own a business, you should pay attention. And if you see that person's face or you research that individual and you've seen them over and over again and you've seen them around other credible individuals, then you understand who that person is. You're only in this room here with me right now because I understand where you've been and who you are, and you have that credibility because we know certain people that know each other. So, you know, you understand what I'm saying? So if I'm trying to level up, you know, I'm not going to go and just listen to someone pitch me and not actually pay attention and go, well, who is this person? Okay, let me see what you have. Let me see your results. Let me see if there's any kind of credibility to you. And let me see what type of person you are at the end of the day, too, because, you know, we can read people. We understand, you know this as well. And you've gotten really good at it, by the way. You're super young. You're about as old as my oldest, actually. I have a daughter, yeah, bro. So, you know, the good life makes you look young for a long time. But yeah, man. So I have a daughter that's your age. And so just to see your success and then the way you deliver the message and the way you are now, I don't know you back then. You talk as if you weren't this person before, which is kind of hard to see just because of how you show up. How big is it for you or was it for you to understand who you are, right? And not try to be somebody else, and then to leverage that because you've been able to do it really well, like your delivery of messaging, you know, who you are, and trusting yourself, because I'm sure you, like, dude, you're like, the delivery of the message, like you're on it, boom, and you're fast, right? And I tell people all the time, like, you know what I learned when I'm around people that are successful, super successful, they're fast. They're moving on whatever they do, they move fast. They don't procrastinate. They don't think about it. They don't go back and forth. Yeah. Like, you don't make money that way.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the biggest thing for me was when I was a kid, I just didn't enjoy being lied to. I felt like somebody was always gatekeeping something from me.
Yeah, same.
Like, it was just like, okay, why does everybody go to school when someone else over here is telling me that it's a scam? Like, why are people gatekeeping stuff from me? Like, why am I even in school right now? Like, when I was in college, like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, to get a better education. And I used to take that and I was like, what education though? Like, what is a better education?
Yeah.
Like, and then you go online, you see somebody who's like, yeah, I didn't go to school, and they have a Ferrari. And I'm like, what the hell am I missing here? Like, why is someone lying to me? And the whole gatekeeping thing kind of made me realize that I think people who actually buy stuff appreciate radical transparency over being lied to.
Yeah.
Right? But then here's the crazy twist is as I was growing up and as I saw friends get into relationships, marriages, business partners, I started to see that I don't know what it is, but I feel like people actually enjoyed being lied to.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
They enjoy it because it's like this fishing hook. It keeps you on this curiosity hook where you're like, huh, you know, if I just keep getting lied to, I always have something to be curious about. I think that's why 50-something% of marriages fail and 30% of business partners have a falling out and all these things because people are just not upfront in the beginning. Like when I'm talking to any prospect, like I'll say it so many times. I'm just like, you know, hey, this shit takes time. You have to build this. It's a long-term investment, like yada, yada. No matter how many times I say that, they will still try to build this own expectation in their mind of, okay, but how fast? Okay, but how fast? And I'm like, why do you keep thinking that? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, no. This is what it entails. You have to have all these things in your business that need to be aligned for sales and marketing and the messaging and the offers and the funnels and all that. But like, yeah, but what can I expect? Like in the first third, I'm like, what is going on? And I think it's like all the shit around us, Uber Eats, all these things you get really fast and quickly delivered. It's like the instant gratification of it.
Yeah.
Also being able to be like quick with speed, it's because everyone's on the same clock. Like we all have the same 24 hours in a day. How we spend the 24 hours matters. So I just need to be with speed and efficiency. Also, when you're not fast, you let your mind be open to all the emotional baggage to talk yourself out of shit. So like your mind is always like this, like your mind has two sides, action and like the devil. It's like the devil's like telling you reasons why you shouldn't do something, the doubt, the fear. It's like, okay, if you slow down, you give that thing time to tell you reasons why you shouldn't push forward.
Yeah.
Because then it makes you complacent. So with speed, when I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, hey man, we need this, and this. Okay, grab it now. Because as soon as I let that sit or simmer, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
The odds of getting it are just so much lower. Because now I'm depending on human behavior. And human behavior, let's be realistic. Once you turn 26, like psychologically, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking to anybody above the age of 26 and I tell them something, I'm like, if you don't do it, dude, the odds of you changing in the next 20 fucking seconds are pretty small.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to get stuff quick. Also,
how'd you learn that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because so some people, and one thing I've been blessed with is I know how to read people and I kind of, you know, don't take offense to anyone. I understand how they're coming and they come correct. But, so like you, like your delivery and how you move fast and how you talk, like it could be offensive to some people. Some people be like, some people will be like, dude, what is this guy like? Do you know who I am? Like, what do you look at the way you're talking to me? But it's like they don't understand. You're trying to get something done.
Yeah.
And in order to get it done, like you just mentioned, I have X amount of time to get it done. If I don't get it done, we're never going to get it done. And imagine if I waited for every single person that I have to get something done. It's like, I got to go. I got to keep it moving. Like, catch me if you can kind of deal, right? When did you determine that? Like, that I need to switch things up because this is like, it's costing me. Time is money. Time is money.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
So I think the biggest thing was that I know that I'm not for everybody, which is actually a gift and a curse. Like, yeah, would I love to serve the masses? Of course.
Yeah.
But then if I serve the masses, then I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So that means I have to be basically understanding of everybody's emotional triggers and all this stuff. And like, to be honest, that's just too draining. So with me, I'm just direct in the way that I am, because if I say something to you and your automatic reaction is defense, you're never going to be successful, because offense is the best defense. Let's just be realistic. Like, the more things I put out to the marketplace, the more things I get to stick or not stick, then I find out how to play defense in the first place. Yeah. So it's like, if I say something that triggers somebody, oh, of course there's a ton of people, bro. Oh my God, the DMs I get, they're like, dude, you talk about this all the time. Like people need time to think about it. People want to talk to their wives about financial choice. I'm like, dude, fuck your wife. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, you got to get shit done. Like, the wife will worry about the shit later. Yeah. Okay. Like,
when that purse comes in, right?
Whatever the case may be. I'm like, when the Birkin sits there, then she's not going to be complaining.
Right.
So it's like, it's just this thing where, if I don't put them in the right mindset, then they're going to try to, they're going to basically try to change the way they think about the situation without understanding it, because then their mind's going to just the behavioral change is just not going to kick in.
But it goes back to being, owning your space, right? And knowing who you are. Because I believe that's, for me, that's what shows the person and who they are. The only way you're going to be able to shine to the rest of the world is being you, authentically being you, and no matter what anybody has to say. And then you know, your delivery doesn't change because someone else is in front of you. It's the same all the way across.
Yeah.
And I think that's what works for you.
Yeah. Like I was on a call 2 days ago with this guy, and he paid like for the private, and he paid for a deposit for the call, because I do that with book calls. I'm like, hey, pay a deposit first and I'll hop on and talk to you. I get on the call with the guy. I'm like, hey, like it's $20K a month. He's like, okay, well, I got to talk to my 50 agents first. I'm like, bro, how are you going to talk to 50 people about this? We just got on a 30-minute call. You went on with Will. Now you're on with me for 30 minutes. How are we going to package this and explain this to 50 people? He's like, oh, we have board meetings all the time. We do this. I'm like, bro, to be honest, man, I'm going to pass, because that seems like a fucking headache to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Now I have to have 50 people. I have to sell 50 people to get one person to pay. I'm good, dude. He's like, why? I'm a paying customer. I'm like, dude, you haven't paid yet. You just paid a deposit. I'm going to refund you your deposit, and then you can just have a blast with it. And I was just like, dude, how do people think like that?
Yeah.
If I make decisions, I have to be confident in the product and the service to know this decision, I have to align it with the team. My team doesn't own my credit card. My team doesn't own the bank account. My team owns their role.
Yeah.
And if this thing fits within the role, also it's like, dude, if you want to grow your business, you need leads. Like
100%.
let's just come down to a simple level here.
That's why we're here right now.
Do you need leads? Yes. Okay, so then what you're trying to tell me is you have to get 50 people that means you're telling me that 50 people behind you don't have common sense. Yeah. They're not aligned with your missions and core values of, you're gonna tell me that if you go to 50 people, you'll say, I don't want leads. That means you should fire all 50 agents right now.
Exactly. Everybody relies off of that.
Dude, it's crazy. And I'm like, bro, how do you survive?
Yeah.
And dude, you have 50 agents. He's like, yeah, I make $100,000 a month. And I was like, that's it with 50 agents? I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I have another firm that has 50, they're doing like $3 million a month. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, who is that? I'm like, I'm not fucking telling you. You're going to copy their shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this call is going nowhere, bro. Like, you're weird. So I was like, here, refund, I'm out. Like, it was just the weirdest thing ever.
It's crazy how that works, though, too. Even in myself, and when I hopped into the mentorship and the coaching world or whatever, it was like, yeah, I'm like, hey, this would be a good extra source of income for me, right? It was like, this is a good source. I'd be able to help others. I don't want to be a gatekeeper. I don't want to like not be able to help other people that may need that. I needed that since I was 18, 19, 20, trying to get people to help me, and people would just shut the door on me or just use me enough I can make money for them as the middleman. And they would never really give me the information that I needed to pull forward. Luckily, I overcame that by just sticking around, showing up every single day, no matter what. But with that thing that people think like, hey, I just gave you $5,000. I just gave you $10,000. I just gave you $20,000. Like, so you want me to stop everything that I'm doing because you put up what means, I know, I get it. $5,000 means $1 million to you, other people, to me, it means nothing right at this point, but it might mean a lot for you. It might be the $20,000 for this guy, 50 people, whatever, $20,000. Hey, that's like, I make $100,000 a month. $20,000 is a lot. Yeah. But you're not buying me. You're buying the time. You're buying the information so you can get your results faster and possibly go from 100 to 200,000. So how much is that worth it for you? And some, like, I don't understand how people think that they're going to pay something to buy you. Like this, that's not how it works. Like, you got to put in the work. You're going to get the information because we've been there, done that. We understand what works, what doesn't work. And going back to what you're talking about, the leads, that was, again, I tell people all the time, like, look, what I know and I go through, I will let you know. And I will tell you, it does not work. It cost me $100,000. Don't spend the $10,000 or don't spend the $2,000 or don't do it this way because it cost me this. Whether it's real estate or business, I tell you because I've been through it. I'm not just going to tell you because I think this is what you should do. I'm going to tell you because I've been through it already. So back to the ads and all this stuff that me and you are going to start. Obviously, we're already working together. But that's one of the things. I get 1.6, 1.7, whatever. I go from like nothing to a bunch of views, right? And all of a sudden we're like, oh shoot, we're getting a bunch of views and we're getting a lot of traffic, but it's not converting. And I'm like, I convert more with traffic of 100 people than 1.6, 1.7 million people watching. There's a problem, right? And I'm like, I need to solve that problem. So clearly it's not the views. That's the problem, right? So That's what I like, and that's just me being transparent because people are watching. I'm like, this is being transparent. Like I'm thinking this is gonna work and this is how it's gonna work, and it's not. It's exactly the way I just talked about the influencers, right? They get all these views and they're not converting. To me, it's like this is a waste of views. Like
Yeah.
I don't need a bunch of people that have nothing to do, no interest. They're not business owners. They're not. They don't have a real estate portfolio. They're not looking to scale in sales, whatever the case may be. I don't need those people looking at me because there's nothing. There's no. I'm no value to them, and they're no value to me. That's just the truth. I mean, but what's your thought on that? I mean, we were talking about, just people thinking that they're going to buy you.
I mean, yeah, services has definitely changed a lot. Like when people buy stuff from us, they assume that they now own us too. And I'm like, whoa, slow down. So like the biggest thing I'll say is if I'm paying X amount of money to get X result, I just have to factor in, was it worth the money or was it just worth me spending a year or 2 years of my time doing it on my own? Like what is actually more valuable? If I spend 10 grand to learn how to do my first my first fix and flip, let's say, okay, if someone sold me a program, hey, here's 10 grand, learn how to do your first fix and flip. Okay. How much would my first fix and flip be if I didn't understand the things in the 10K program? I might lose money on the project, or I profit 40K instead of 65K. Like, what could have happened in that project to make it better? What did I not know about the loan? What did I know about the contractor? What did I know about this thing or this cabinet, or whatever the hell you're doing with the fix and flip? Like, if I would have known the 10K information, I probably would have made more money. But people think 10K, I have to make my 10K back quick, and it's got to be quantified down to the T. Not until the end result happens. Not until you look at it when it's over and you're like, okay, how did this thing actually go? What did I learn from it? People want quick shit.
Dude, I don't understand how people, and another thing too is like everyone's so focused on making money. I'm like, I don't think any of you understand that. Making money is not the problem. You're going to make money, right? You stay consistent enough, you're going to make some money. The problem for me was keeping it.
Yeah.
Everyone runs into this problem. I'm telling you, everybody that I step in the room with this high level individuals, they all ran into the same problem that I ran into. Is like, how do I keep it? Because I know how to make it. I knew how to spend it when I was younger. And then I ended up with broke and having nothing. And I'm like, okay, now I need to figure this out because, so those are the experiences. And I tell people, look, a mentorship or a program or whoever you're teaming up with, it's super important for you to not only be worried about making money, but they're going to help you figure out when you are making it, or say you a year, 2 years, 5 years later, you start making money. Now you know what to do to start keeping the money, to start duplicating the money, making money work for you. I'm the kind of guy that I want money to work for me. I don't want to be the one working for money. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to kind of continue doing what it does, and whether it's my businesses, I don't want to be present. Like I tell people, I like the mentality that I was brought up with. I'm Mexican, right? But the mentality that I was brought up with and was like, work and save and pay everything cash, and then I'm like, I did all that and it got me nowhere. I'm like, I'm still alive. I still got to deal with inflation. I still got to deal with everything else going around me. Like we still got to eat. Like all these bills are still going to come. Like it having everything set just there, it does nothing for me. I got to learn how to multiply it and how to make money work for me and start making more money. But I don't want to be the guy that's present, necessarily. Like right now, I told you earlier when you got here, like, dude, I'm that guy that I'd rather figure out how to make more money to hire someone like you to take care of this problem. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and my partnerships in business is the same thing. Like, do they know, like in the lending space, my lending partner, they know exactly what they're doing. The team, everybody knows, they know a lot more than what I'll ever know. But I don't care to know it all. I just want to make sure that you're, best at what you do. You're best at what you do, and position everybody in place to make more money. Wealth is built by that, not by yourself. It's built by getting the right people and getting surrounded by the right people and hiring the right people at the same time, right?
Yeah, I made that mistake probably 3-4 years ago with the people piece. I was just hiring anybody. And I was like, yeah, dude, get in there. Do that. And I was like, damn, you suck. All right, next. And it was just going through this like revolving door. And then I started realizing about like, hey, like what are people's, I talked about this at the event, was people's PPF goals and like personal, professional, financial. Like what do these people want to do within your organization? Like why does it matter to them to want to work here? And the way people wake up and the job they go to and the things that they enjoy really dictate how long they stay and how much extra they do for you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, When I wasn't getting PPF goals, I was getting people who like were cheaper. And then when I actually introduced PPF goals, and now people wanted to get paid more, but they do more and they're better quality. So it's just like, all right, well, now I have to spend more money on payroll, but now the product's better.
Yeah.
And all these other things in the business are better. For the last 2 years, it's just been great.
What's the tool that you use for, because we have viewers here that might not understand the PPF. What's the tool that you used or that you took on to actually be able to get better at that?
So the PPF goals, when I ask somebody, hey, like, what are your PPF goals over the next like 3 years, right? Personal might be, I want to get married. I want to live in X city. I want to have a child. I want to start a college fund for my kids. Like, what is that personal goal? Okay. And then we have professional. What kind of role do you want? What kind of, like, let's say they start off as an account manager. They want to be a director. I want to be in leadership. I want to speak at your events. I want to write my own book. Like, I don't know. Like, we ask them these questions to see if what we have aligns with their actual goals. I want stability in my profession, always be learning and growing. I want to be able to go to events. Do you guys pay for events for employees to go? Which we do. Yeah. Do you guys do that? Okay. Like, they're asking questions like that. And then there's financial, which is, hey, where do you want to be revenue wise? Like, how much you want to make? Well, I have a wife. I got a kid. I got to be making $120,000 a year or more. Hey, right now I'm single in Nashville, Tennessee, let's say. If I could just make 75, 80 grand a year, I'd be fine. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's his goals, but where do you want to be in 3 years? Yeah, I'd like to be at 110, 130. So now we have to jot these things down with HR and be like, okay, this person in 3 years, we need to make sure that we're keeping on track with their performance reviews and seeing if they even deserve that. Yeah. Because if they're making 75K a year and they want to go to 125, they have to move up to another position. And we have to track those KPIs every 90 days on performance reviews to see if they're worthwhile going to that role. Yeah. Also, like, we always leave job openings. Okay. So we always keep job openings. We're always taking on interviews because we always want to keep everybody accountable. So like, when employees see that you're always hiring, they're going to care more. Yeah. Because they're like, shit, my job is always up for grabs. Yeah. Right. When you don't have jobs for hire, then it's like, ugh. Yeah. Then they get complacent. Like, no one's hiring. I guess I'm staying here for a while. Like, fuck it. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. And then you have the whole, they feel like they're unreplaceable, right? Yeah. And yeah, that's
so it's like, with video editors, setters and stuff, like, we always will future hire out. Like, so like right now we put out a post 2 days ago for a setter. I did it last night again. We had 39 people book a call for an application, and we booked all those calls out until the end of May. Why did I do that? Because if I hire somebody, we hired somebody yesterday. If that person doesn't go well, we have somebody next week that we could probably hire. And then if I hire somebody else by tomorrow, let's say, because Casey's got probably 10 interviews a day stacked. Okay, we'll hire someone on Friday. If they suck the first week, we can just find somebody by week 2 or 3 that will then replace. We always have a revolving door of interviews, right? We're always trying to find that A player. Like, we'll pay for the A player, and there's always going to be somebody in the business that maybe isn't performing as well, or they're dealing with like family issues. They need to take a leave of absence or something. Like, there's always something happening with like personal people's lives. And that's another thing too, is that even when you're hiring people, even when you're paying them, the check isn't enough. Yeah. Like the check is
never a money issue.
It's never it's hey, like, we had a guy work for us for a year and a half. Why did his performance decline in the last 2 months? Because his girlfriend cheated on him. Yeah. He's like all fucked up about it. And I was like, dude, man, like, we're going to try to support you. But like, if you don't think that you can do this at an optimal level, then you're going to take a leave of absence. Because we have clients, we have standards. Like, I don't know what you want me to do, bro. He's like, I need to take a step back, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. It's just like, I'm like, all right, dude, like, we'll have to put up an interview, figure it out. But like, there's things that happen in their personal lives that they don't want to tell you because you just didn't make it an open door. Yeah. Like, when you push the corporate stuff onto people, they feel very hindered from expressing their emotions. Yeah. But when you have that open door and everyone's like really fun together and you guys have dinners and shit and everyone's like friends, you find out about stuff a lot faster.
Yeah, and then you're not waiting 3 months later that they're not performing. Like, oh shoot, we missed this.
We missed it.
Yeah, and now it costs us money and time and everything. And I think overall that's super super important too. Just I always tell people, like, when they come and ask me, I'm like, dude, you can't just be like an owner. You got to find out, get with your people outside of business, outside of work. Like, you got to find out, what their interests are, what they, what they got going on. And different people have different things, like you just mentioned. I mean, you could do that in the beginning, but through time, who knows? They might have been single, now they have a relationship going on, and now they're, in love, or now, whatever the case may be. But for me, I think, like, as an entrepreneur, and I think you know this as well, like, business does not care about your feelings.
Yeah,
like, if we don't show up, that's why I always tell people, like, look, everyone wants to watch all this entrepreneurial stuff, and now all of a sudden, the entrepreneur is, like, everywhere in the world, right? I remember looking it up in the dictionary because no one knew what I was, and that's what it said, entrepreneur. Back then, it wasn't known. But it's crazy because that's exactly, like, I just lost my train of thought. That's exactly, just went blank. We can always be doing. I literally just lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The whole title. Dave, you just blanked the fuck out. Bro, but you know what's crazy is that I get it. Because you're thinking about 85 things at once.
Always.
And you're talking about a topic, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck. Like, what the fuck was I even thinking about? Like, bro, I swear to God, you're not alone, bro. Like,
100%. And it always happens to me. People are like, they're like, hey.
Like, bro, even while we're talking, I'm thinking about my next podcast or his funnel. And then he mentioned Albert. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what did I not do this morning for Albert? And then I'm like, shit, the mortgage lead form. I got to hook it up when I get the fuck out of here. So, like, I'm just like, dude, I get it.
Yeah, entrepreneurship
You're not
is not
alone.
for everybody. That's what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Because
That's the truth.
Yeah, you got to show up. And I love this because you make mistakes. It don't matter. But look, no one cares.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's only like fun for a day or two, if even that, if you're lucky.
Yeah,
But
the hardest thing with the emotional piece is people want to talk about their emotions to you or myself or other people online to like vent. Like when you're trying to sell someone something, they're like, yeah, but this guy did it for me and it didn't go well. I'm like, I'm not that fucking guy. Like, I don't know what happened to you, but I'm just like trying to help you. And then they're like, oh, the shit don't work. Ads don't work. The landing page, this. I'm like, bro, I didn't do that to you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now you have to get past all that. And it's just like, dude, the emotional stuff is crazy.
I think like it's a good selling point for you because it's like you don't get attached to the objections. You don't take them personal. You just kind of deal with it and kind of go with it. But I was saying before we got interrupted, entrepreneurship, that it's not for everybody because there's entrepreneurs out there. There's people that I'm like, look, you're an employee. You're not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs don't. It does not matter like what holiday it is. It doesn't matter whether you have a fight at home. You still have to show up. Like you still like everyone relies on you showing up. Everyone on your team relies on you showing up. Everyone on my team, all my partners rely on me showing up. Everybody continues to rely on me to show up, no matter what. And so I think that's the difference between being an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, and understanding like, hey, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to not get all in my feelings about anything and everything because
people glorify the name because it's the entrepreneurship, the lifestyle, the women, the cars, the money, the watches, all the stupid
freedom,
shit
baby.
online. Until they realize that it's just a bunch of emotional fucking downpour of trauma, just like consistently.
And then you just
It's
keep
like,
going
bro.
and going and going, dude. And again, I mean, for myself, it wasn't enough to just deal with one thing; is deal with multiple things because I've always wanted to have different streams. And then, like we just talked about, and losing my train of thought constantly happens, which I think is just like for me, I'm always developing my brain, and one thing after another. And I think the more I put into it, the more information I get, the more I can actually take action on faster. That's the way I see it. But I'm super slow compared to you guys, man. You guys are the young ones killing it. There's like you guys
I got
are
that energy.
fast,
I got the energy now. That's why I'm like, damn, I'm about to be 28, bro. When I'm 40, I hope I don't fucking collapse.
Dude, you need to kill it now, right? I always tell people like when you're under 30, like there's no excuse. You need to kill it now, like kill it. Like I killed it. I was like the wolf of real estate, right? And before 2008, and I was young in my 20s, and I was doing everything. Back then it was only Facebook, so I was throwing the Facebook parties, and meaning everybody could show up, anybody. I wasn't like Ty where you gotta like pay and show up. Like no, everybody, it's free. And I'm not knocking Ty. I mean, I get it. I have my own masterminds in my own place. That's why we got these places, right? So we can do our own thing. But I'm saying like I was throwing them and it was just costing me. Like I was just doing it. I wasn't even monetizing off of it. I was just like an idiot. You know, I was just like, hey, let's just party and here I have money. Let's just, blow it. And then, yeah, anyway, so that was before, after '08, and losing everything. It was like, man, I'm like, being at a young age allowed me to get back up and then still be here. And now we're still here. You know what I mean? Like, years later, but people think they see the Ferrari, like you said, they see the watches, they see the lifestyle, they see the freedom, they see the estate, because here and there I'll show off the property, obviously, and I'm like, dude, you don't realize I've been there, done that, lost it, go back to a one bedroom, go back to a one room, back into my parents as an adult, back to my parents' house as an adult, in the room like I'm a teenager when I'm no longer a teenager, and going back to starting all over again. And I tell people this too. Talk about a humbling moment. I've never worked with my hands, and I went back into opening, out of all things, a tire shop. You know what I mean? I know nothing about anything. I was like, I need to make some more money to get back up on my feet. Where did you? You're obviously doing the ads right now, but before doing ads, bro, like what were you doing? Because I mean, it's hard to say that because you're only 27, bro. But I mean, what were you doing? You went to college. Did you drop out?
Yeah, I was in culinary school for a year.
Did you drop out?
I dropped out of culinary school, but then I went to business school after because I started flipping Pokemon cards. So I started to have this like entrepreneurial feel for like just like
how
flipping.
Old were you then?
19, 20.
Okay.
So I was 9. I was 19. I just turned 19, and I got out of culinary school, and I was like, bro, I hate this shit. Like, this is so stupid. And then, I get out, I go to business school instead. I went back to live with my parents because I went to SUNY Delhi, which was more upstate New York, so I had to get a room there.
Okay.
So I moved back, went to Mount St. Mary's, which was by my parents' house. So I just lived at home, went to school, did business school, and then that's why I started doing like the local business stuff that I was talking about before.
You graduated?
Yeah, I graduated. Yeah,
I dropped out. I dropped out of college. That's what I'm asking. Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm making more money than professors. I'm like, I need to get out of here.
Dude, I'll be honest. The only thing I learned from school was how to talk to women. Swear to God, that was the only thing I learned.
That's a good key.
I didn't learn shit.
Yeah, at least you took that.
I was like, dude, how can I be more sociable and like talk to women? Because when I was in high school, bro, I'll be honest, I was just socially awkward.
Yeah.
Socially awkward as hell. Like, it was just so bad. I would like
dude,
go
do
to
you
like.
consider yourself an introvert or no? Not really.
Right now.
Obviously not now.
Not
bro.
as much anymore. I would say 2 years ago, definitely introverted. Yeah. Yes. Like, dude, like for example, I remember I used to go to like events and parties, and someone would hand me a beer, and like my hand would be shaking.
What? Are you serious?
Like, it was that bad, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just could not go out in like public. Like, I was like, dude, I like ads. I like my ads manager. I like all this shit. Like, it's tough for me to look at somebody and have to know everybody's name too. I'm like, fuck, I forgot his name.
I forgot his name, yeah. My name's Diego, by the way.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, all these names. I'm like, oh shit. And then like you walk into somebody and you don't know if they want to start a conversation or not.
Yeah.
You're going to the desk where there's like a cheese board and shit, and someone looks at you. I'm like, do I say fucking something? Like, do I just grab my food? Do I walk? Like, I don't fucking know what to do. So it's like, dude, it's
so you're
so
the opposite
bad.
of me, bro. I just go into places and I just walk the red carpet and talk to everybody.
Dude,
like I own
that's
the
an
place.
impressive skill.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
It's
bro.
funny. I was with my buddy who drives a monster truck. I don't know if you're familiar with monster trucks, but he drives El Toro Loco, and he was telling me that we went up to an event, and he's like, dude, and I was like, no, like, come on, we'll go to the back. People are in line at this event. And I'm like, no, come on, we don't need to wait in line. Go to the back to where the special guest was at, who's now a buddy of mine's. I'm like, come on, and then he's like, do you know him? And I'm like, no, I don't know him. Just come. Like, you just own your space. I don't know him. I don't need to know him. Like, just come. Look, own your place. Own your position. Like, you act like you know it or act like you belong, and no one cares. Yeah. If you act like you belong, but if you come in and you're like awkward and you're trying to, like don't know whether or not you belong, like no, come in there, own your place, and sure enough, we went back there, took pictures, and everybody's waiting in line, all out the door, and all that. I'm like, no, dude, like I know this guy. Come on, let's go.
I know.
We don't have to do that, dude. I went to a.
He's like Jerry, high school.
What's up,
Jerry?
Yeah, and then I remember we did what is those like the radio show things? Like I took my wife to an event and out here we're in California, so we went to the Forum. Dude, I went. They parked us. I don't know why. We were driving some type of convertible, and then they parked us in the back with a red carpet. Like I didn't ask for that. They just guided us and parked us back there. And so we went through the red carpet with all the famous people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I just told her like, come on. And she's like, are you serious? Like, yeah, they brought us here. We belong. This is us. Like the drinks, everything here is for us. So I walked in, and we're shaking hands. I mean, Big Sean and a few other people are all in there. Like, I'm just running through the carpet like I own it, bro, and just talk to everybody. And that's all it is. Like, I tell people, I don't know why people are so scared. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You go to jail for a night and come out the next day? Like, no, as long as you don't assault anybody or do anything crazy. But no, man, I always go to places and I'm like, look, I know my worth. I know who I am. And, God put me here
That's
to be
a funny
great,
thing
man.
you bring up. Was like, what's the worst that can happen? You go to jail and you wake up the next morning. Bro, one of my friends had the craziest idea. He's like, dude, you want to know the craziest sports betting hack you could do? Just bet on someone rushing the fucking field. And just have one of your friends do it. And you get a 10K fine. You'll make more on the bet. And I'm like,
true.
bro, I'm not going to lie. That's the craziest shit I ever heard. That's a good freaking bet.
It is. Somebody already watching is probably going to end up doing it, bro.
He's like, dude, if like the odds of that, I think it's like a plus, it's like a plus 5,000. You put 10 grand on it. You have someone rush the field. Like, fuck it. They get a quick misdemeanor and 10 grand, and they stay overnight, and we all split the money.
Dude, you
And
never mind putting your and never mind putting your friend at it, bro. Just throw someone out like a hobo in there, bro. They don't even care. Yeah,
I was like, bro, it's badass.
Yeah.
You just can't fuck up the jump. Like you gotta actually if you like break your fucking leg or something, like, bro, that's a loss. That's just you gotta actually get on the field and tackle a player or something. Like you gotta actually like make a comeback.
Yeah, make a comeback out of it. That's crazy. And then you play sports too, huh? When you were young or no?
Basketball and tennis.
Yeah. Were you any good at it?
Yes, basketball I was.
Yeah.
Tennis I played in college, but I wasn't that good. Tennis was like a second thing I picked up because I just had good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Just always something I had. I don't know. When I was growing up, I played football in the background with my dad. My dad was always so astonished. He's like, how the fuck are your hands that good? Like, I don't know. I was able to catch shit. I just had good hand-eye coordination.
And you do basketball, what position? Or
Point guard.
Okay.
Yeah. Basketball, I used to be really good at basketball. That was like my heart and passion for 18 years of my life.
Wow.
Dude, that's the crazy part is that I was 4'11", 70 pounds. I was never this tall.
Oh, wow.
I had a human growth hormone deficiency disorder when I was younger. So, like, I was playing basketball 6th, 7th grade. Going into 8th grade, I started getting invited to a lot of these, like, someone might know what this is, but they were like these hoop group invitationals. They were up in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and they would take like the top 100 kids in the Northeast, and they would do these divisions. The Poconos are in Pennsylvania, so I was Northeast, so I would go to that one, and then they had like hoop group, 5-star, and then they had this one at Roger Williams University, which was in, I believe it was Rhode Island. I went there and did like a whole camp, and there's college coaches and all this shit, and dude, I got challenged, like 4'11", 70 pounds. Bro, I got mopped when I went to those invitationals. I was like, bro, I suck. And then I was like, yo, dad, like, I need to figure this shit out because everyone else is hitting puberty and I'm not. Like, what are we supposed to do? He's like, dude, I can't afford HGH. Like, we don't have money like that. And I was like, fuck. So that's when I decided to go to culinary school because the school was cheaper. Going to culinary school at SUNY Delhi was $7,000 a year. Going to Mount St. Mary without an athletic scholarship was like $35,000.
Wow.
So that's why I kind of decided on culinary school because I didn't have enough money. Like, I just didn't have fucking shit. I didn't have funds, didn't have grants. Like, dude, I sucked in high school, didn't have good grades. Like,
you?
I wasn't really, I hated
It's crazy because you consider yourself a nerd now in a sense. Well, I'm a nerd out. You
Yeah.
always say you're going to nerd out, but I'm like,
I just hated like things that I didn't want to know about. Social studies, bro. I don't give a fuck when this guy started a war. Like, I don't know what's going on. The Aztecs, Incas. I'm like, bro, who are these people,
dinosaurs,
bro?
bro. What about the dinosaurs, bro? They could change your life.
I'm like, bro, are these things even real? I'm just like, I'm sitting there in class, bro. I'm thinking about all this shit. I'm just like, where's gym class? Like, I want to go throw a ball at somebody. What is this? So it's like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, dude, it's just tough. And then my dad folded. We took my small college fund that we had, and when I was in 11th grade, we finally decided to get shots, HGH shots, where I went immune compromised for 90 days. Bro, it's like this whole ordeal. Like, it's way more crazier than what people make it to seem.
Wow.
So, like, you take this big shot, and it just goes in your back, and it's like, have you ever seen like a lumbar puncture? It's basically a lumbar puncture, but just fucking hurts, bro.
Oh.
And you get a shot every 2 weeks. These shots are like $15K a pop because
You gotta do it again after doing it
bro,
once?
it's every 2 weeks.
Mm.
So every 2 weeks for 90 days, I went from 4'11" to what I am now, 6 feet. Bro, it was the crazy shit of my life, dude. Crazy shit, hands down.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that story. But once I've done it on multiple podcasts, but it's a longer story than that. But like basically, I couldn't see anybody for 90 days, and like you're immune compromised. So like they had to put these sheets in the room and shit. You know, it's like a disinfected room. You can't do anything. So I'm in there for the whole summer before I went away to culinary school, and I just got shot up. Dude, my dad took the college from. We just used it for that.
Wow.
And that was what it was instead. So then that's why I went to culinary school, and it was cheap there. Then what happened was I saw that the tennis team at SUNY Delhi was looking for somebody. It was too late for me to get recruited to play basketball, and that was the other thing that sucked too, was that I got an offer from Dayton when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. Like, dude, I was a fucking savage. Playing against 7th and 8th graders, I was very good. You go into high school, you're 4'11", someone's 5'9", bumps you on the hip, bro, you're done.
You're done.
So I was like, all right, well, my life is coming to a close, because that was what I dedicated my life to for so many years. It was just basketball. Like nothing else, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
You
no
still a fan?
girls. No what?
You still a fan?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. But,
Or being
That's
from New York, what's your team?
dude, I was a Kobe fan. Bro,
Okay.
Kobe, hands down, greatest player of all time. Fuck all this LeBron crap.
Yeah. So you appreciate
dude.
my 1 of 1
Bro,
right in front of you.
dude, LeBron's a clown.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even going to get into that, bro. Shit's ridiculous. LeBron, yeah, we're not going to get into that. LeBron is just the worst player to watch, bro. I can't watch him play. He's not exciting. Think about every player you've ever watched on TV, bro.
Yeah.
I could not put my head down and eat my food while Kobe was playing.
Yeah.
Like, bro, when he gets the ball, everyone stop what they're doing. When LeBron gets the ball, honestly, bro, no one really gives a shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's
It's
like,
crazy
whatever.
you say that, bro, because even I felt that way. I was telling my wife that, like, I felt that way every time I would go watch him, play at the Staples Center. It was like I couldn't move. Like I had to, like,
Bro,
it's
you
like
can't
the
get
next
up and
minute.
use the bathroom?
I was actually there when he blew his Achilles, bro. Like I was at that game against Golden State, and I was just like, I knew it. I said, when you're there, like I just kind of knew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've never played sports, but I love watching them. And so I'm very observant, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because like I'll watch for a while before going all into my businesses. I used to watch a lot of sports and ESPN and all that. And I would be like literally the announcer. Like, and then she'd be like, how do you know that? And I'm like, well, it's just like I'm watching and I understand what's going to happen next. And I said, watch, they're going to say this next. And then I'm like, I should just be on the show.
And dude, it's crazy because you'll ask people who's better and they'll always say LeBron because of stats.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, you know, I get stats are great, but you're 4 for 10 in the finals.
Yeah.
I got a better chance of flipping a coin fucking blind and guessing it than winning a finals with LeBron James. I'll take the flip of the coin.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is that he still couldn't win more than Kobe.
Yeah.
He didn't have 5. He still got 4.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was that, and once Kobe left the league, bro, I stopped watching as much.
Yeah, me too.
Because the flavor of it got lost. And then you had LeBron 2 years before started the worst trend in NBA history. The super team shit. He made into a reality TV show. Like, dude, he's just a clown. Like, it's just like, he's basically like the Jake Paul of basketball. He's just an idiot. Like, it's just like, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a bad taste because watching Kobe play was an art. But watching LeBron and basketball players now, it's about a check.
It's crazy you say that, but I think a lot of people feel the same back with Jordan. You know what I mean? But I've always obviously been from Mexico coming here, just been an LA kid, so I've always like, you know, I was always Magic Johnson. Everybody's like, oh no. Everybody's like, no, Jordan. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I've always been. I bleed yellow. You know what I mean? Purple and gold. So I was always a fan of that. But like you said, it's watching and enjoying it, right? You actually you enjoy it every minute, every moment, every final, I remember having. You're 27, so I remember
the Celtics and them playing.
I remember being at the parade with my daughter. She was at the time 4 years old, if not 2 and 4. Remember, it was back to back, so she was there She was there back to back years with me, sweating and just like we're at the parade, dude. Like it was just crazy. So I've been there when they burned down the city. I wasn't burning anything, but I was there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, living those moments. You know what I'm saying? Like they're moments that will never come back, but you definitely enjoy them. They come true because of, again, what you watch, you know, like he brought that to the game. Not only that, but just the when he came out of that, and then just people started kind of more diving into his mentality and everything else about him and business. And it's just like, as an entrepreneur, you appreciate it. 'Cause you know what it takes. Like, I'm not again, like I said, I'm not an athlete, never have been, but I respect that. Like, man, like, you just keep showing up. And I knew, like, when his Achilles gave out and all that, I was like, I knew he's gonna come back because he has to do the, you know, the farewell tour or whatever thing. But I'm like, it's not the same. Your body's done, you know.
Yeah.
And that guy, like, he freaking put the body through it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, I'm done. Like, no, I'm gonna, like, until I'm done, I'm done. Right? And you're gonna have to tear my body apart in order for me to be like, all right, I'm done. Now time to work the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a cool player to watch. It sucks because now the league is just like,
Yeah.
it's just about money, bro.
Dude, I just went a couple years ago. I went to the Super Bowl here in Vegas. I'm a 49er fan as well, and even then, we were there, and I called the last play. When I called it and it happened, I was like, I'm done. I've been to a World Series, 7 of 7 here with the Dodgers.
I've never been to a World Series.
Yeah, it sucks. Don't ever do it. It doesn't matter even if your team wins. It's just like another baseball game. I've been to baseball games that give me more like excitement and a lot more. You know what I mean? Like the like here in LA, the mariachi. You know, you get the freebies and the stuff. You enjoy the whole event. You get to be there a couple hours early, and you really enjoy it. You go to the freaking World Series expecting like a Super Bowl type deal, and it's not. So just to let you know. But anyways, I lived the experience of the World Series. I lived the experience of 7 of 7, and that's when the Astros cheated, and then freaking, you know, they still won, but they cheated, and it was the worst, bro. Then I didn't get my money back. That doesn't matter.
The craziest thing is with the finals, I've only been to the March Madness final.
Wow.
I've never been to a Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals. I hope that changes this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a New Yorker.
Okay.
I hope the Knicks can go.
Let's go.
Then I'll finally get my ass up and go.
Yeah, you better, dude. Floor seats or figure it out, man.
Bro,
figure it out.
The floor seats will be $20,000 a pop, bro.
Yeah, it's worth it, bro. You can't.
I know,
you can't,
yeah.
Man, you're
sit next to
Jason
Gary
Wojo.
Vee.
If I see you in another seat, bro, I'm gonna be like, come on, man. You already come on. Are you serious? You need a loaner? Come on, man. You got to show up. And that's the same thing. When we went to the Super Bowl, the same thing. I wasn't going to get no freaking... Even my wife was like, we're not doing no nosebleeds. Like, no, of course not. We're going red carpet, right in there with Gwen Stefani and everybody else. We ran through the red carpet. And
dude, it was so weird this morning, bro. Because when I rent cars on Turo, I don't get anything extravagant. And I go and I get the Turo this morning. I get this thing outside. And I go there. And I'm like, usually they give you the lockbox.
Yeah.
You just put the code in, you get the lockbox, you go, this guy comes out, he's like, I follow you. I'm like, fuck. He like knew who I was. He's like, oh, dude, I saw you take the photo with like the selfie of the driver's license. And I was like, damn, I just got this like 2015 Benz. I was like, dude, I just need a car to go around. Like, I'm not trying to get anything that crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I like to go over the top sometimes and like get good seats or get this. But like sometimes, bro, it's just like, it's so unjustified.
Yeah.
Like I took my sales guy to a Knicks game about 4 weeks ago, and I paid $1,000 for like 3 rows back each. I was like, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
But then 2 rows, it's $4,900 a pop, and I'm like, I can't fucking justify it.
Yeah. Well, look,
I'm
man,
like,
I tell you,
damn.
like, and that's the thing too. Like when I did the World Series, when I did, and you're right, I did that. I did the Super Bowl, and obviously the seats, and even at the now the crypto, but. I cannot, if you ask me, like, they would have won or lost, like, can you justify it? I'm like, as a fan, but I'm done. I spent a lot of money at being there, and I was like, you know what, they lost. I called the last play. I'm done. I told her, I was like, that's it.
And then I got upgraded to the shit where you go in the tunnel or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you get to clap the player's hands. I'm like, this is so weird. So I put my hand out, and no one fucking hits my hand.
Well, dude, you can't be weird about it neither, bro.
And I'm like...
You can't be weird about it like this.
It's like a garage sign. I'm just like, God damn it, man. Like,
yeah, sometimes it's true though. It is. If I can grab that money and invest it elsewhere, you know, I mean, but there's moments you live for. People say, what if they would have won, right?
You know, take a selfie here, send it to your mom and shit. I'm like, hey, mom, went to the Knicks game. This is cool.
Yeah. But same thing with that. Look, when I did the Super Bowl, I had a better experience going to a finals game or a run-up game, you know, stuff like that, even a season game. I've had better experiences, funner experiences, because when you're going to something like that and you're spending so much money, bro, you're literally like tense through the whole freaking thing. Like, you can't even move, right? And you're just like,
See, the March Madness final was hands down the best sporting event that I ever went to.
Yeah.
Because everyone is just like, dude, there is this one guy who was running up and down the row, fucking cheering, hitting everybody's hands. This guy was hilarious, bro. He was so wasted. His wife was holding him like, honey, stop. You're acting like a fool.
Yeah.
And dude, he didn't care about nothing. He was in front of us. He's like, no, wife, you don't understand this shit. You don't understand this. I was like, damn, bro, like this is hardcore. And then at some point, bro, they wind up winning at the end. And dude, he comes up to my friend Taylor, who's our setter, and he hugs him and picks him up. And I was like, bro, that's my setter. Like, put him down. It's like, damn.
Oh, that's fun, dude. That's what's fun, dude. That's what I'm telling you. Like I've done those games where I go left field and we're running up and down, me and my buddy, and then all of a sudden somebody who knows somebody ends up telling us a couple of days later, like, "Hey, were you at the game? I think I just saw you. You were being loud and crazy and running up and down the field." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that was us. That was us. That was us." But yeah, those are. I mean, again, I've had more fun at those events than spending so much money and being at these other ones. But the relationships too that you build, I think, when you're in you know, floor seats or like those type of areas, if you're gonna do it with intention, it makes sense, you know, financially. But if you're not, if you're just doing it to have fun, dude, you can have more fun being in the nosebleeds or somewhere else.
Yeah,
you know, where not everybody's sophisticated. I remember going to a Cowboys game, taking my parents, and dude, I was the loudest in the room, and I'm like, I was trying to make it fun for my dad because I'm like, this is a Cowboy fan. We're going to Texas, you know, like the Cowboy fans were super quiet. Everybody's like, I'm like, what are we doing
That's
here?
shocking, bro. Dallas, I'm a Giants
I'm like,
fan,
bro,
bro. The
come
Cowboys fans are ruthless.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, guys. Like, hey, we were there for it was a Cowboy Ram game, right? And I'm like, I'm yelling and being louder and standing up, and I'm like, are we not supposed to stand up here? Am I going to get arrested or something? Because
Bro,
like,
the
everybody's,
craziest
like, so
shit
quiet.
that I ever saw at a sporting game. Me and my friend went to a basketball game. I forgot what team it was. I think it was the Suns. We were there, and we look over to our right, bro. I swear to God, we saw a pregnant lady drinking a beer. And I was like,
Maybe she just looked like she was pregnant, bro.
bro, I don't know. Maybe she was just that fat. But I was like, she looks pregnant. And we went up to her. We were like, are you pregnant? And she was like, yeah, but I'm just having one. And I was like, just having one? Bro, that's terrible. Put that shit down. Like, we were trying to help her. And, like, the husband was next to her, and he was like, yeah, it's fine. Just having one. I was like, bro, are you okay? And I was like,
crazy.
I was like, damn, this shit's out of pocket.
So nuts.
Dude, we saw her drink, and I was like, that's not apple juice. There's no way that's apple juice. We asked her. She's like, yeah, it's just one. I'm sharing it with my husband. I was like, I mean, that baby's going to come out with something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the craziest thing I ever saw at a sporting event. That shit pissed me off a little bit. I was like, that's so terrible, man.
That's a high killer right there when you're walking into that. But look, man, I think overall, I know you touched. I've heard you talk about this, and I like to bring it up because I'm a man of faith, and we talked about it a little bit, but I see it now. It's kind of like I don't like it, but I do it just because I am a man of faith. I believe, and that's what's gotten me through my life. It's always been like, hey, you know, I've been a juvenile in juvenile hall. I've been, you know, in so many different areas of my life where I'm like almost died in a motorcycle accident. You know, got not able to walk, to be able to walk again, to be able to see me, you know, walk normal, not with a limp, and do what I do. Just so many things that God has shown Himself to me, right? And it's important to me to like always now like give Him the glory and not make it about myself. When I made it about myself, I go back down to losing everything. So it's like, you know, understanding the relationship and not just talking about Him, but actually having a relationship with Him. Like, hey, you know, I got this going on, and you know, not always when it's good, not only when it's bad, but when it's good as well. Like, hey, thank you. You know, all these things are happening in my life. This environment that I have now would not be possible if I would have died at that accident, right? If I would have never came out, you know, I would have got those 10 years, you know, as a kid, you know, and came out a whole nother person. You just never know. So God has always given me this path, and that's forgiveness that taught me how to forgive, right? And to be here now. So how important is it for you? Are you a believer? You know, are you not? What's the deal with you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just do a lot of private prayer. I think that, I don't know. I mean, for me, like, yes, I'm a massive believer. I just don't do organized. I just do like private. So I'll do like my confession. I go privately and I do it.
Yeah.
Organized. It just makes me feel like I'm getting put in a box and I'm not able to speak to him freely the way that I want to.
Okay.
So that's just my like one thing. I just do my thing. Like I'll go in the morning. I usually take a drive in the morning, and then I will grab like my Dunkin' or whatever. And then after that, I'll go to a church that has an opening. It's one by me, but I'll go there. I'll just do private real quick, and I'll just come back and start the day. That's usually how I do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think especially with the things that I haven't been through as much as you.
Yeah.
But I just look at it as if I'm a believer, then he'll believe in me.
100%.
And I think that's just like a really important piece. Because most people they'll be a believer, but then they're like, okay, but I don't believe in myself that much, so I'm putting all the glory in him. And I'm like, we put the glory in him, but we still have to, obviously fight for what we want. We still got to be who we are.
Yeah. You're made to be a warrior.
Yeah.
You're made to be great.
Yeah. Like, dude, you only have so much time on the planet. Also, you don't even know when your time's up.
Yeah.
Which is the worst part. You have no idea.
You don't.
Like, dude, like crazy shit. Like, I had a friend, dude, that was just driving down the road casually. And this truck in front of him had like sheet on it, sheet metal. Bro, a piece of metal came off, went through the windshield, and fucking cut his head off, bro. Swear to God.
Like Final Destination
Yeah,
type
like
status?
Final Destination type shit.
Oh,
and this was like
Lord.
9 years ago when I was younger. I mean, bro, like after seeing that shit, and then the second was one of my friends was driving at night. He wasn't drunk or nothing, driving just through New York, through the backwoods. And like, bro, a deer like hit his car, but the antler chipped off and fucking stabbed him in the shoulder. No. And he almost bled out. Like, bro, crazy shit has I've seen. And I'm just like, bro, you just never know.
You got some
weird
Final Destination going on, bro. So I'm going to keep my distance.
It's just weird stories.
It's crazy, bro. That's so crazy. No,
a bird just flies down, cuts your throat.
Right? You never know. I think at this point it's crazy how life is, because you see people like, I've gone through some crazy stuff in life too. And, I have a nephew, who passed with all this fentanyl stuff going on and stuff that happened, and just like out of the blue. And I think about like every time I go into that room because it's still set up and everything, and I go in there and I visit him, and I'm like, you never got to drive that car. I never got to, I just get you in the car. You know what I mean? Like if it's the Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever, you never got to finally walk to do your graduation. You never got to finally do the things that you aspired to do in life. You never got a chance to really get there. And it's just like, what kind of excuse do I have? You know what I'm saying? Like God's giving me a day every day. I have no excuse. You know what I mean? You never got that chance. I'm giving that chance again. So it's like, how can I come up with anything other than thank you for another day and let me show up 100%?
Yeah, I mean, the thing my dad would always say, and a lot of people say it too, is it could always be worse. Yeah. Like you might be going through shit, and it's just like, it could always be a lot worse.
100%.
It's like,
It's crazy how everyone's always trying to like compare themselves or do things like I don't, obviously I just kind of deal with me, compete against myself. I don't know if you do the same.
Yeah.
But I compete against myself, and I'm just like, people all hit me and be like, hey, you're friends with so-and-so. How come you don't have these many cars? Or you're like, bro, because I'm not living someone else's life. I'm living my life. This is me. This is what I enjoy. This is what I do. You guys see the Ferrari. I originally got the Ferrari just for marketing purposes. I didn't get the car for like, like I'm not that guy, that big guy. But you know what? Now that I have the Maserati, the Ferrari, and my kids are, my boys, they're young and they're jumping in the cars. And I let them jump in the cars and do whatever, dude. I press the buttons, turn on the cars. Matter of fact, I got to put that out there because I still have that video where my son hit the gas. Like, I was like, oh, shit, I was going to blow the engine. But anyways, probably not a good video to put out because if I ever want to sell the car. But, they're pressing buttons, and doing, and I love that. I'm like, look, like it's just material things. It's not something that's going to make or break. It's exciting, right? You see it on the screen on your video game. Now you see it here in life. And now you know that, hey, I grew up with like, maybe for us, a Toyota was the greatest thing. A Honda was the greatest. And now it's like, that's how you change the legacy. That's how you change your family. That's how you make everything different to where like you make this normal, right? What's your life's normal, right? And so that's, for me, it's exciting to see like, other people get more excited. It excites me more when I see other people get inspired and be excited. Yeah. I've been at speaking events where I'm the one showing up with the car and they have more of a crowd, like we talked about, they have more of a crowd, but I'm the one with the car. Then they come and they're like, oh dude, I'm like, oh great. That's what it's here for. Like I had a guy came in with his girlfriend. I remember I was in front of the hotel and I was praying, about to go up on stage. And I was just, praying to God that he'd give me just allow me to touch one person's life. That's it. That's all I ask for. Just when I go on stage, just make sure that I'm touching and doing what you want me to do while I'm here because you gave me this opportunity. So I'm sitting there doing this, and then this guy comes in with his girlfriend walking in. He's like, "Oh, that's your car? Yeah, oh, it's amazing." And I'm just like, "Yeah, bro, yeah, that's the car, man. That's what it's there for you guys to get inspired. I mean, it's not. That's all it is. Like, I want you guys to, you can have one, you can have 10 of them, whatever you want, And so I didn't know at this time. And then I walk in, dude, this is the keynote speaker of the freaking event. You know what I mean? He's one of the main event guys speaking on stage. And I'm just like, that's so crazy. Like, I had no idea who the guy was. I'm just like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy.
It doesn't change who the crowd is. I mean, to me, it's just more exciting to see people get excited about their possibilities, right?
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, it's badass.
That's me, bro.
The only
I don't
thing
know about
is
you and your McLaren and all you have a Bentley and you have all these other goodies as well, man.
The only thing is just like the liabilities of it. Like that when you're saying the comparison piece, people compare themselves, but they're like, oh, the cars are cool, but little do they realize, like, yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
But like, bro, they're expensive, and sometimes they're a liability most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's like you see that shit from the outside, and it's just like, for me, having cars younger was actually a bad idea. Because me dating was very hard. Like, dude, like the dating piece for me was just so difficult because I didn't know if women wanted me because of me or because of the things that I had. So that was the hardest part.
Yeah.
So like, I used to go on dates and I would just like fucking Uber there.
Oh, I got you.
Like, fuck, dude. Like, you got to like me for the bullshit, Like,
yeah.
Like, just
like me for who I am, right?
And then,
That's
like,
crazy.
if I were to hang out with them afterwards, I'd be like, yeah, my parents live here. I would just bullshit. I'd be like, yeah, my parents live here. I would just lie for the first like week or two. Not to be an asshole, but like I just had to.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to know that was mine.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, no, my dad left him there.
Yeah, makes sense too. Makes sense. That's a tough one too. Like I think when you start having success and you're young, and then all of a sudden you're like, shoot, do I show it? Do I not show it? You know what I mean? Are these people here, bro? A victim of that. Before '08, and everybody's around. After '08, I lose everything. Everyone's gone. You get what I'm saying? So it's a reality.
You start to see who's real. Start to see who's real and
it's
who's not.
It's real, dude. I mean, I mean to see these people and I think overall too, like you just said earlier, you went to go pick up a car. You didn't even know this dude already knew you, right? Just imagine a girl or a chick's looking at you, and all of a sudden they already know you, so they're already kind of filtering you now. Oh, I know how to put this guy together, and you know what I mean, get what I want out of him. It's a beautiful thing. I think with me and my wife, we met in Vegas.
Oh shit!
So we didn't meet anybody. She didn't know anything about me. So we met in Vegas, walking to the Excalibur. So I always tell her like I met you at my castle. You know what I'm saying? I'm your prince. You know what I mean? I'm your prince. But anyways, we met there walking to the Excalibur, and that's one of the things that I stood out the most for me is like she made it challenging. Even after we left, we met, whatever, she still challenged me and continues to challenge me every freaking day. It's not like, oh, you're married, all of a sudden now you got it. Like, no, it's a continuing. Like that's why I told her, I said, I've always, prior to being in the relationship I'm in now, bro, I've always cheated. I've always never been committed. I was the opposite of you, bro. I was the like I just said, I owned the carpet. I just kind of walked out to everybody, and girls would like that, and I wouldn't even know why they would like me, but I'm like, hey, let's go. So I would have the ability to like just have access to girls and be the popular kid, but it wasn't necessarily a good thing because I didn't know how to stay committed.
Funny.
I didn't know how to stay committed.
Yeah.
But when she came into my life, she like literally like till the day, bro, like she makes it like a challenge, you know what I mean, to show up. You know what I mean? And every way of possible. And I'm like, oh, why do you have to? Sometimes I hate it. I'm like, why do you have to challenge me? Like, you know what I mean? Don't challenge me. But then at the end of the day, when I go, I value it. And, and I'm like, you know what? Like without her really knowing, I tell her, you don't understand. Like before you, I was a mess. I never can be committed. I would never be committed to one female.
Man.
And so now being with you is like you have something which is good. You keep me accountable, and you keep me pushing, and you keep me wanting to do those extra things that sometimes I hate. But I get it, and it's beautiful. I said I would have never traveled Europe had it not been for her. I never really was it. Like I never would have done a lot of things for the Ferrari. Like there's certain things that she's just like, just do it. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out. And then it's like the forever home. Like me, I'm a dude. I'm like, dude, you can get me in a 1-bedroom. I'm good. I don't need anything else. I'm all about business and what I love doing. And so I'm like, give me a 1-bedroom condo or whatever. I'm good. But obviously hers like pushing me to that next thing and the next thing, and it's just been. I think I would have never accomplished that. So you'll find that one person that's going to end up challenging you and just like continually get you to like grow. And it's not going to be the finances. That's what, when we're talking about this, it's like, to her, one thing I really, to the moment, you know, I love is like, it was never the finances. It was never like, hey, what you have. We met in freaking Vegas, bro. Like, for all she knew, I told her and her friends I was an entrepreneur. They laughed. They left and they thought I was some kind of broke dude. Like, he's unemployed. That's pretty much what he just meant. That's what he meant. He's unemployed. And at that time, it was, you know, I was still trying to build back up. So it wasn't like I was made of money or anything. You know what I'm saying? I was driving around in
I think women care more about just like quality time. Like, they don't
Yeah.
care much about the money piece. It's
They
quality time. It's having somebody that they can always like look up to and be a leader in the home, inside and outside the home.
someone that'll listen.
Yes.
I have a hard time sometimes.
Yeah,
doing
bro.
that.
Me too.
But someone that'll listen is like, are you listening to what I'm like, oh,
She'll
shit,
be in
bro.
my face and she'll be like, "You got to share your emotions more." I'm like, "What's for dinner?" I'm like what? Like what? Like what the fuck are you talking about right now?
But you know, it's like we're not wired the same, bro. We're not.
No,
wired
we're
the
not,
same
because
as
we
they-
hold that shit in, bro. Men are used to that. Like we
Yeah.
hold it in.
You know, it's crazy
Really?
to say that, because that's one thing too. Like, I think my daughter even tells me, like, you know, and her, and they share that. It's like, you've never been the type to kind of like go over everything. Like, and I'm like, well, because a lot of the crap that I've done or has happened, I don't care to think about or even go back to. And I'm moving forward, and I don't really want to ever talk about it. It's like, but how are we ever going to know? Like, well, we just don't. We just move on. And so that's me, right? It's just like, and they want to know like all these little like details, or how come you didn't tell me about this? Like, well, because it's like whatever, you know. To me, it's things that
Yeah.
are like whatever, but for them, it's not whatever. It's like, no, you got to like be able to be more expressive, because you are. Like, I'm expressive. We're expressive in other ways, but sometimes
Like before
we're
I dropped her
challenged.
off at the Airbnb before I came here, she's like, "Oh, let's go stop at a Starbucks. You want Dunkin'? You want Starbucks? You want?" I was like, "Just fucking pick some shit. I don't know. Just pick somewhere." And she picked somewhere, and then I'm like, "That's mad far. Like, why don't you pick somewhere closer?" She's like, "Why are you yelling at me?" I was like, "Cause that was a stupid fuck." I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot. Like, this is my girlfriend. All right, what?" And I'm like, "Okay, all right, we got this. We got this."
Funny you say that, because she'll tell me, she's like, she's like, I'm not one of your employees. I'm not so much. She has to remind me. She's like, you're not going to talk to me this way. And as a matter of fact, come back and see me later. You know what I mean? And it's like you check yourself. You're like, oh shoot, you're right.
I was like, "Oh shit."
I apologize. It's like, I didn't mean to. I didn't.
And then
mean
you
to say
look
this.
over and you see if she's looking out the window with like the shit face, and I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, "All right, it's gonna be bad."
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, you get. I hate to say you'll get better at it, but you really don't. And still, I still mess up here and there.
It keeps her on her toes though.
Yeah.
Regardless if she's mad about it, I'm like, like this is just the way it is. Like you got to deal with it.
Fun. Last thing I always ask the guests is like, ignite. It's the fire. What ignites the fire in you? What's your why? What's your purpose? At this point, everything changes for me. It's changed within my life. Obviously, me being double your age. No, but it's always changed throughout the years. This thing, that thing, retiring my parents. Paying off their home. Things like that. My kids and now my new kids and my wife. Like my new kids, but my little ones. And there's just life has changed and my whys have changed. And that, like we talked about earlier, it's not the money. It's never the money. It's always the why, the purpose. So what's your fire, bro? What's the why? What's the one thing that's like Jason Wojo? And let's talk about that too. I forgot to talk about that. I want to talk about your last name, because what is that? Like what are you, bro?
Wojciechowicz. Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
It's Wojciechowicz, Polish.
So
So
it's not even spelled that way, bro.
Wojo's the short name. WOJO is just a short name for Wojciechowicz.
Wojo
Wojciechowicz.
Howitz.
Yeah.
Wojo Howitz, and it's
Yeah,
Polish.
there you go. Yeah, it's Polish. Yeah, so I'm
Polish.
Polish and like a little bit Italian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that,
So
bro.
like the fire for me is, since I'm still young, like I'm not in that family mode right now.
Yeah.
Like for me, I just enjoy like always getting bigger in the industry. Like I want to be like the household name for ads. That's just like the fire that like keeps me going. The second is, how they always say like your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
I just want to build such a massive like network that I don't have to like ever worry about money again.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have a business that makes that possible, but like I still want to have this like massive network. I'm always trying to meet new people, always trying to get, referrals of people. I'm always trying to like find the next network to dive into because it's so important to be in those rooms. Sometimes the smallest rooms are the most important ones. And then the third thing is I want to build leaders within our business. Like I think that looking at people as just team members, it loses track of what they actually want. And they just want to be leaders. Either I don't care if they're male or female, or they want to be a leader for their kids, or the husband wants to be a better leader for the wife and the kid, or whatever it looks like. Like they can both be leaders. And I think that we're building a great place for people to come in and do that and
to build.
Yeah.
To build
Yeah.
within. And that's
So I don't
really
want them to just think about it as like a job. It's just like, because then it's replaceable.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? Because obviously you're younger than me, so I want to share this with you, just because I see it and I see the growth in you, and I don't care if anybody else ever told you this, but I want to tell you this: like you're going to be able to grow so much that you're just going to become unstoppable, and I think it's once you start realizing that to a certain degree you're going to be transactional, but be relational. You know what I'm saying? Like really get to do this. Like I enjoyed being able to come in here and talk to you and just kind of chill and talk. And it's like the age variation doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We enjoy each other's presence and at a whole nother level, right? Because then I'm more likely to, obviously refer somebody to you. Now you're a friend of mine, versus just being a transaction. And that makes all the difference in the world. And I know you might already know this, but really truly practice it, because it's the biggest thing in my life that's changed my wealth has been relationship building. Not so much a transaction. They don't come in on the front end all the time. They don't come in on the front end. Sometimes they're just, you're just hanging out and it's not there. But in the long run, when the person really gets to genuinely know you, like, hey, bro, here's, it can convert to millions of dollars that you would never even think of. And you're good, you're smart, and you understand that it's a time thing. It's not overnight thing. But when you invest that time in that moment and this relationships like this, like it's gonna overflow to a lot more than you can ever think of. And then it allows you to change people's lives. Because that's one thing that we share as well. And I love that you're doing that at your age, that you're, like you just mentioned, at the third thing, changing other people's lives that are within your empire. That's where it's at. Yeah, man. All right, man. Well, great having you on, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope that helps some way, somehow.
Yeah,
brother.
it does. Yeah, of course.